The second half of 5.0 released, and with it comes a new limited 5-star character. Meet Kinich, the newest 5-star Dendro character to join the Genshin Impact roster. Kinich has a fun playstyle, skating around your enemy and latching onto them, doing Dendro damage. So in this video, I will be covering his weapons, artifacts and talents, and very quickly his teams. So without wasting any time, let's get right into this Kinich guide. So starting off with your weapon options for Kinich. His best in slot is the Fang of the Mountain King. You will gain 1 stack of Canopy's Favor after hitting an opponent with an elemental skill. This can be triggered once every 0.5 seconds. After a nearby party member triggers a Burning or Burgeon reaction, the equipping character will gain 3 stacks. This effect can be triggered once every 2 seconds and can be triggered even when the triggering party member is off field. Canopy's Favor buff will increase your elemental skill and burst damage by 10% for 6 seconds and will stack up to 6 times, and each stack is counted independently. Then for the next weapon, we have the Serpent Spine. The Serpent Spine is a battle pass weapon, and if you have it at R5, it is a super good choice for Kinich. Every 4 seconds, when a character is on field, they will deal 10% more damage and take 2% more damage. This effect has a maximum of 5 stacks, and will not be reset if the character leaves the field, but will be reduced by 1 stack when the character takes damage. Then after that will be the Beacon of the Reed Sea, which is theirs best in slot. After the character's elemental skill hits an opponent, their attack will be increased by 20% for 8 seconds. After the character takes damage, their attack will be increased by 20% for another 8 seconds. The 2 aforementioned effects can be triggered even when the character is not on the field. Additionally, when not protected by a shield, the character's max HP will be increased by 32%. Then after that is the Verdict. The Verdict is also a really great option, especially if a lot of you pull for the Zyphos Moonlight Sword for Kazuha. You might have gotten this weapon and have no Navia. For the passive, it increases attack by 20%. When party members obtain elemental shards from Crystallized Reaction, the equipping character will gain 1 seal, increasing elemental skill damage by 18%. The seal lasts for 15 seconds, and the equipper may have up to 2 seals at once. All of the equipper's seals will disappear 0.2 seconds after their elemental skill deals damage. And lastly, for your F2P option, the craftable Earthshaker. The Earthshaker's passive, after a party member triggers a pyro-related reaction, the equipping character's elemental skill damage is increased by 16% for 8 seconds at R1, and this effect can be triggered even when the triggering party member is not on the field. And now getting onto your best artifact choices for Kinich. The Obsidian Codex is obviously his best in slot. For the 2-piece, while the equipping character is in their Night Soul's Blessing state and is on the field, their damage dealt is increased by 15%. And then for the 4-piece, after the equipping character consumes 1 Night Soul point while on the field, their crit rate will be increased by 40% for 6 seconds, and you can trigger this every second. Then we have the Unfinished Reverie, which is not far off from the Obsidian Codex, so if you have farm for Arlecchino for example, you might have good pieces that you can just throw onto your Kinich. For the 2-piece, it increases your attack by 18%. Then for your 4-piece, after leaving combat for 3 seconds, the equipper's damage dealt will be increased by 50%. In combat, if no burning opponents are nearby for more than 6 seconds, this damage bonus will decrease by 10% per second until it reaches 0%. However, when a burning opponent exists, it will increase by 10% until it reaches 50%. And this effect still triggers if the equipping character is off field. After that, we have the Marushase Hunter. You want to pair Furina primarily with this team so that Kinich can get the full 4-piece effect, but for the 2-piece, it increases normal and charge attack damage by 15%. But however, the 4-piece is the more important part. When current HP increases or decreases, your equipper's crit rate will increase by 12% for 5 seconds and will stack up to 3 times. And then lastly, the next one will be the Golden Troop set, which is a decent choice for Kinich. At least mostly the 2-piece will increase his elemental skill damage by 20%. Then before we get to the talent side, for substat priorities, you want to prioritize crit rate, crit damage, attack percentage, energy regen, and a little bit of elemental mastery won't hurt. If you are on Obsidian Codex, get 40 to 60 crit rate. Focus more on your attack percentage and crit damage after that. And now getting to the talents. For Kinich's talent priorities, prioritize his skill into his burst. Don't worry about his basic attack, it's not very valuable. Now for his skill, the Canopy Hunter Riding High. Kinich attaches to an enemy entering his Night Soul state. Otherwise, if you are not fighting, you can use the skill as a grapple to traverse the open world. For his Night Soul Blessing, it will last 10 seconds and can regen 2 Night Soul points every second. When you normal attack with him, he will start firing Dendro attacks at enemies, as he latched onto them. And then now for his ultimate, Hail to the Almighty Dragon Lord. It will unleash the Dragon Lord Ajo, dealing Night Soul Dendro damage. If Kinich is in Night Soul state when you ult, it will increase his Night Soul state for a further 1.7 seconds. And now next onto his passive talents, the Price of Desolation. When Kinich is in Night Soul's Blessing state, opponents hit by his elemental skill will enter the Desolation state. And when affected by Burning or Burgeon reaction damage, they will restore 7 Night Soul points to him. Night Soul points can be gained this way once every 0.8 seconds. The Desolation state will persist until this instance of Kinich's Night Soul Blessing state ends. Then to the next passive talent, Flame Spirit Pact. After a nearby party member triggers a Night Soul burst, Kinich will gain 1 stack of Hunter's experience that lasts for 15 seconds and will max up to 2 stacks. When Kinich uses Canopy Hunter Riding High, Scale Spiker Cannon, all stacks of Hunter's experience will be consumed, and with each stack consumed, it will increase the damage dealt by this specific cannon shot by 320% of Kinich's attack, all the way up to 640% if you have the 2 stacks. And then for the next passive talent, so far all of the natlan characters have this certain type of Night Realms gift. When Kinich is in the air, following Canopy Hunter Riding High's mid-air swing, he can consume 10 Phlogiston points to perform another mid-air swing. While in an area with Phlogiston mechanics within natlan, he can use Night Soul Transmission. When the current active character is sprinting, in movement states that result from specific talents or in the air, when you switch to Kinich, Kinich will perform one of the following actions depending on the conditions met. When facing a Coil Grass Sigil that can be interacted with, he will fire a grappling hook toward it to move. Pretty much the exact same way as the green Pokemon work in natlan. When they are nearby party members and you are in combat, Kinich will use Canopy Hunter Riding High in the direction of the opponents. Otherwise, Kinich will fire a grappling hook and swing, prioritizing valid Coil Grass Sigils as grapple targets. And then for the last passive talent, Swift Envoy. While in an area with Phlogiston mechanics within natlan, interacting with some harvestable items will increase your own party member's movement speed by 15% for 10 seconds. Additionally, the location of nearby resources unique to natlan will appear on your minimap. And now lastly onto his teams. Kinich loves burning comps. For the first team, it will be Kinich, Emily, Xiangling, and Bennett, but you can replace Emily with Nahida, Yao Yao, or Dendro MC. You can replace Xiangling with Dea if you want a more comfortable team, but however, you do not want to replace Bennett. This is by far his current best team as of yet, but if you want to have more fun, you can try these 2 other teams. Kinich, Raiden, Furina, Jean. For a Hyper Bloom, you could do Kinich, Zhongli, Yaimiko, and Kazuha for a type of spread team. Thanks for watching this quick Kinich guide. I hope you all found it helpful. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, comment, and subscribe.